In this video, we're going to discuss how to correct a slumped seated posture. During a slumped seated posture, usually the pelvis is rotated backwards, the low back is in a flexed position, and the sternum is pulled down. Then the head comes forward as a result of the upper rib cage being tilted forward. And so what we want to do under these circumstances is we want to first loosen up this central abdominal region and get the sternum to come back up. If we can get that sternum to come back up and relax the central abdominal region, usually the head and upper part of the rib cage will come back so that the head and upper part of the rib cage are stacked over the lower part of the rib cage. This often reduces the amount of flexion in through the lumbar spine as well. And so what we're going to do first is we're going to raise the eyes and lift the chin slightly here so that we start to feel the front of the neck loosening up just a bit. We're going to put our hands down on the bottom part of the sternum and we're going to assess its position. So the bottom part of the sternum should be slightly angled forward or vertical. It should not be dipped in. So if you need to, gently lifting up until that sternum is in that vertical or slightly tipped forward position. From here, you're going to try to relax your center abdominals. You're going to take a breath in with your hand on the sternum and feel that sternum come forward as you inhale. This should be a gentle breath. An aggressive breath is more likely to result in a compensatory strategy, so go gentle with the breath here. As you take your breath in, you should feel that sternum come forward and the center abdominals are now somewhat relaxed. Then you're going to assess that low back position by assessing how much pressure you have on your sit bones. So from correcting your sternal position, you may have noticed that the pressure went from your tailbone to your sit bones. If that was the case, you probably don't need to make any further adjustments here. But if you find that you're still sitting back on your tailbone, you're just going to slightly roll forward with your hips until you feel pressure onto your sit bones. If you're unsure of if you're in the right position, don't feel afraid to overcorrect into pushing your hips further forward and then come back to find that sweet spot. So you can go all the way back, find your tailbone. That's not quite right. So then you're going to come back forward. You're starting to feel your sit bones, then go a little further. And once you lose those sit bones, then just go back. And now you should have contact in your heels, contact in your sit bones, relatively vertical sternum, an open feeling in the front of your neck, chin lifted, eyesight is about parallel to the ground, and this should be a reasonably comfortable seated position.